On this edition of Mississippi Roads, community spirit unites an all-state marching band. The hunt is on in Glen Allen for haunting spirits. And in Ridgeland, we capture the whimsical spirit found in one artist's bottle trees.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Support for the arts segment of Mississippi Roads comes from the Mississippi Arts Commission, whose vision is to support and celebrate Mississippi's creative and innovative spirit. Information available at arts.state.ms.us.
Down Mississippi Road, Mississippi Road.
Hi, welcome back to Mississippi Roads. I'm your host, Walt Grayson. This week, we're coming to you from one of the most historic cities in the state. We are in beautiful Natchez for the 12th annual Food and Wine Festival. Every year, this culinary extravaganza gathers together celebrity chefs from across the South for 3 fulfilling days of feasting festivities. Events begin Friday night at the Natchez Convention Center with tastings along the river, where regional restaurateurs serve up a virtual smorgasbord of scrumptious samplings. Amongst this display of delectable delights, even the most precocious peruser is bound to find something pleasing to the palate. Saturday morning starts off with biscuits, beignets, and breakfast at the Natchez Coffee House. Then that afternoon, there's a wine and cheese tasting at Dunleith Mansion, followed by brews, blues, and burgers at Bowie's Tavern. A few of the region's most prominent chefs show off their culinary skills Saturday night by preparing a multitude of multi-course meals at many of Natchez' most historic homes, treating guests to an evening of fine dining and soulful entertainment in elegant settings. And finally, the festivities culminate Sunday morning with a champagne jazz brunch at the Carriage House restaurant, where Osgood and Black strike up the band. And speaking of bands, every year some of the most talented high school musicians in the state come together to form the Mississippi Lions All-State Band.
I think excellence draws young people. I think young people today are just like they were 64 years ago. They're drawn together to the Lions All-State Band because they know it's a 2-week period, band-wise, that's going to be like heaven. They know for those 2 weeks that they're going to get to achieve a level of excellence that they can't achieve anywhere else, at their home schools or anything else. Mississippi Lions Band is a group of 145 young people from Mississippi. They survive a 2-stage audition process. They come from every part of Mississippi. We have 54 different high schools represented this year. The Lions Band has been in existence. This is its 64th year. It's sponsored by the Lions of Mississippi, and its main purpose is to represent them at their annual convention. They have to survive a 2-stage audition. The first stage, a student goes before 5 judges. Then we bring them back to a second tryout with a totally different set of judges. So we're getting the very best we can.
Every year, whenever you audition, you go into this practice room and you get a chance to warm up and get ready for your actual audition, and you hear all the players in there and you're like, wow, they're all amazing. And it's pretty nerve-wracking, especially when you know how great all the players are.
I had tried out my freshman year and I didn't make it. I made callbacks, but it was really hard for me, but I took that as a way saying I need to work harder, and whenever I worked harder, it all paid off in the end.
One of the worst things I ever saw was a child that had been in the Lions Band for 3 years, had made callbacks, made the cut for the second one, and then didn't make it at all. And after having been in it for 3 years, he came from a family of 4 brothers that had all been 4-year members. So nobody is guaranteed a spot, nobody. And I think that's one of the reasons it's been really good for a long time. You can make it this year and easily not make it next year.
Adjust your block, please. Adjust it to the woodwinds. Woodwinds, make sure you're in line. Just go to a standby with your feet together.
The kids lovingly call camp Hell Week. and it's very, very difficult. The day starts just before 6 every day. The staff wakes the kids up. We have breakfast at 7. We start marching at 8. We take a little break in the middle of the morning. Then we have concert rehearsal till noon. Then we have rehearsals again in the afternoon. Take a little break for supper. Then we come back and march for 2 more hours. Take a little short break, and then we do concert rehearsal till 10 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock they go to bed, and then we start all over the next day. Let's just say that traveling with 145 students is not your most ideal vacation travel arrangements. But if you're going to travel with 145 students, these guys are the best. This year we have 80 seniors that have graduated from high school. We have a lot of repeat students, so they're travel savvy. They know how to get around. We have a really high trained staff. We've been preparing for this trip really since before last year's trip was over with. We're going to hike Diamond Head. We're going to snorkel in Hanama Bay. We're going to take them, let them have surf lessons on Waikiki Beach. So, not to mention the performances and things like that. So they're going to be really busy. Every year, the Lions International has a parade competition in conjunction with their convention. And the Mississippi Lions Band has won the competition more than any other all-state band. In fact, more than any of the others combined. The band has not been defeated since 1999.
I get nervous sometimes, when we go and compete, and I'm worried one year, it's like, oh, this is my year, I'm gonna be in it. I don't wanna mess it up for everybody and ruin the streak. But we're doing pretty well, and I don't think we're gonna mess the streak up anytime soon.
Well, here's the thing. We never talk about winning or losing, ever. What we talk about is achieving excellence, both individually and as a group. We understand that our streak's gonna come to an end someday. Someday somebody's gonna figure it out, and they're gonna do what it takes to do what our band does. And I think, honestly, our kids will be okay with that. And once a student, or any of us, that's a life lesson. Once you've done your personal best, how much more can you give? And so they take great pride in the knowledge that if somebody beat them, they must be pretty good. I want it to be a life-changing experience for them, a positive life-changing experience. I want them to make friends that will last them forever. And hopefully we're achieving that.
Lions Band's just really helped me grow. It's helped me lead others, and you really feel more responsible, I guess, because you're pretty much like expected, like at the highest standard, and you have to meet those. And so it's really just grown me as a person, and I absolutely love it.
It's made me want to do music more. It's encouraged me because it's surrounded me by people who enjoy it as much as I do. And it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I'm going to major in music, and Lions Band's played a large role in that.
Well, the Old South Winery in Natchez is just one of the local purveyors of libations that participates in the wine festival every year. Founded in 1979 by Dr. Scott O. Galbraith Jr. and his wife, Dean, the Old South Winery specializes in muscadine wines of varying sweetnesses. But if you find muscadine wine is not your cup of tea, the festival offers other beverages sure to enliven even the most tepid taste bud. There you'll find on display a dazzling array of medicinal spirits designed to delight and gratify. And in our next story, we follow a band of paranormal investigators as they explore spirits of a different kind. Ghost hunts characteristically take place at night. Nighttime is the right time for ghosts.
Well, we do it at night, because the theory is between the dead time. In between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, that is like the dead time. And that's where most of the activity usually generates. I mean, they're out during the daytime, too.
But if you're undertaking a ghost hunt, you can't wait until dark to start setting up the myriad of monitors and putting out the battery of batteries, and to untangle cables and set up cameras and check out all of the other equipment that modern ghost hunters have at their disposal.
His power supply was dead, so we just switched out power supplies to his.
That is a mid-afternoon assignment at the latest, and a walkthrough of the haunted property in the daylight is a must. This particular house was lived in by an elderly lady who died of quite ordinary causes, and the home was never lived in again, left completely furnished until it was leased out for the filming of a movie, at which time the more valuable pieces were removed to a warehouse and only odds and ends were left behind in the home. But still, there's signs of life everywhere. Old film negatives and reels of home movies caught my attention, being a photographer at heart. They're just thrown across the floor, obviously by trespassers who slipped through the boarded up and locked up doors to sightsee and perhaps search for valuables that may have been overlooked, either oblivious of the rumors of the hauntings or chancing they'd not run into any of the otherworldly inhabitants. And I was told that even when they were here filming the movie, there were instances of doors slamming on their own, and even a hammer was reported to have flown across the room under its own power. So today, several ghost hunters, all under the banner of the Delta Paranormal Group, are here to investigate the house, to determine as best as they can if the place is really haunted or not. And to do that, they've invested thousands of dollars in equipment and have already spent countless hours of time in other haunted houses gaining experience and collecting data. Curiosity about life after death is another of the elements that separates us from the animals. Of all creatures, only humans ponder their own mortality. And since time immemorial, we've wondered whether ghosts really exist, and have tried to find them, or avoid them, as we could. And to say you don't believe, at least in the possibility, is an attempt to deceive yourself about your own inner feelings. For who hasn't had to steel themselves to keep from dashing out of a darkened room, or been too afraid to turn and look and see for sure that there was nothing behind following them on a dark path at night? These paranormal seekers come to their hobby from various mindsets, some out of curiosity after seeing ghost hunts on TV. And some of these ghost seekers just like the thrill of the expedition and the company of the others along, as do many other hunters. But for whatever reason, as night begins to fall and shadows begin to fill the house, and the last flecks of the sun lick at the window panes, and there's more dark than light inside now, the group of hunters pauses for a ritual they perform before every hunt, a prayer for protection from the unknown, just in case they are trespassing where they should fear to tread. Then the hunt begins. The group divides into teams and they enter the house with just the barest of lights to get them from room to room. Then they stop and start their observations, temperature readings, magnetic readings, attempts to make contact, and attempts to get EVPs, that is, electronic voice phenomenon, where questions are asked while a digital device is recording audio.
Give us your name.
And oftentimes, responses are recorded when nothing was heard by the ear at the time. And while the session is going on inside, on the porch outside, the observations are taking place. Monitors from all the carefully selected camera angles are being watched for any movement. The stairs was chosen because steps have been heard on them. The camera hopes to see something. And the room on monitor 4 is chosen because the last time this house was evaluated, both of these doors slammed on their own. The night wears on, from late evening to early morning hours to the sweet spot, the time of night when ghosts come out, dead time. Now that's when I went back in on another investigation series, and this time kept the camera light on so we could see what was going on. And upstairs, in the room where the doors had slammed on the previous hunt in this house just a few weeks earlier, a noise was heard, and I quickly realized the difference between me and professional ghost hunters, because when they heard the noise in this room, they went in there. Had I been in charge and heard the noises in the room, I would have been out of the house. It turns out that another door had closed on its own, this one leading to a bathroom. And it not only closed, it continued to rock on its hinges while we were standing there watching it and asking it to swing wider, and it did. And soon, I realized evidently nothing was going to hurt me, and the novelty of the door swinging grew old, and the ghost hunters went to another room. But the door swinging was enough to give the group incentive, like saying amen to a preacher or sick 'em to a bulldog. And all of a sudden, the time changed from being very late in the hunt to the hunt just beginning.
And the rest of the night, we're just gonna keep on going until sunlight.
Now, at that point, I left the ghost hunters. They were still looking for more evidence, but I'd gotten what I came for, the chance to go on a ghost hunt and see something, and then walk away.
Yellow for yes. City still apart?
It's the only instrument I really know how to play. Hundreds of years ago, there was an old legend that wandering spirits could be lured to and trapped inside bottles. Well, in our next story, we're going to meet a kind-hearted spirit who wandered down to Mississippi and has become ensnared by bottle trees.
Art is defined whenever something moves you. So art's all around us. That's why photographers take pictures of still objects. It's moved them in some way to take that picture and thus creating art. So my work is purely subjective. It appeals to certain kinds of people. I'm not gonna please everybody in my art. No artist is gonna please everybody. But I think because it's an extension of you, if you really put your heart and soul into the piece, whatever it is you're making, and people know that, they're gonna value that. And I think that that's what my connection is with people in my trees. When I first started doing bottle trees, I didn't know what the history was. But when I did art shows, I started talking to people. People would come into my booth and they'd tell me their stories about their bottle tree experiences growing up. So I realized that there's something really special about these trees. And the more I heard people's stories, the more energy I would put into and focus into the trees. So they kind of started having a life of their own. They came here from Africa back in the 1700s, and particularly in the Mississippi Delta, they rooted deep because people still hold on to the tradition of the bottle tree more so than any other place in the South. And experiencing that, that's your connection with your past. The connection I made with folk art is every piece of folk art that you see, that's an extension of that person who created it. So somewhere in that piece is their personality. Out of necessity, I became an artist. And I was an artist growing up. I just didn't know I was an artist. I wouldn't ever label myself that. When I moved to Mississippi, it was just out of necessity. I had my plasma cutter, I had my welder, I had my dog, I had my cat, I had furniture. And then all of a sudden, I'm not kidding, it was the bottle tree that did it. The bottle tree really pushed me into a whole different realm of work. I came to Mississippi in 2006. It was early August, late July. I was in an abusive relationship where I had to get away from it because I wasn't able to move on in life. When I got down to Mississippi, because I was so broken in spirit, I think that I gravitated towards the metal for healing purposes. So I started focusing all the sadness and all the emptiness, everything into my work. And then gradually, it just started evolving. I moved into the house with my mom and my stepdad And I realized, seeing my mom and her relationship with my stepfather and reliving my childhood with him, it made me realize that the toxicity that I was encountering in relationships evolved from the relationship my mother had with my stepfather. He's a very controlling person, and let's just say I was raised believing that I was worthless and that what I had to say didn't amount to much at all. So there's like an empty void there, but I filled it with my work, and I just, no matter how many times he would tell me that I was, you know, just breaking me down, he found pleasure in that, and the more he did that, the more I would focus on my work. My stepfather and I had a head-to-head, and I ended up getting kicked out of the house, and the whole neighborhood took me in. It was a very painful experience, but at the same time, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because all these people came out of nowhere to step up to the plate and say, no, you are worth something, and your work is good, and you need to keep growing. And that's all I needed to hear. And once I started hearing the positive aspects of my work, I just went with it. Are you sharing? Are you sharing? When you are raised in an environment where you feel like you're a burden and you feel like your opinion doesn't matter, you feel like that as an adult. And now it's funny because I feel like I have a voice and I'm using it, and some people get real tired of hearing it, I'm sure. But when it comes to animal welfare, I can't keep my mouth shut. If I don't speak, if I don't say anything, nothing gets done. When I was growing up, same thing, I didn't have a voice. You know, all of a sudden our animals would disappear. Well, where's our dog? Where's our cat? You know, and I found out later that my stepdad got rid of it. When it comes to animal welfare, I think I'm right up there. They're both equal in my passion. I think the thing that hurts me the most is when I know, when I have this information in my head about animals where they are victims of abuse, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can say, there's nothing I can do. Everywhere I go, I seem to have a little bit of an impact on people. And if one person goes out and gets their animal spayed and neutered because I kept hounding them, that makes me feel really good. I get really nice emails from people from time to time saying, you know, I had my dog neutered because of you. And that makes me, that means more to me sometimes than saying, your art is outstanding, you know. That hits more here. This is Blue, and he was found up in Clarksdale, up in a ditch, and they had fought him for who knows how long. He's approximately 5 years old. He is scarred up, chewed up. He was emaciated when I found him. He was on death's door for sure. The vet was surprised that he even made it for the ride home. But he's doing really good, and because of Facebook, I was able to find a foster for him, a foster home. And that, like I said, that's Gracie, that's our baby. And she and Trip tear it up. But, you know, she's my foster. But if for some reason we don't find a home for her, somebody doesn't step up to the plate and take her, then we will keep her. Fostering, I've been doing for a long time. It hurts me when I know that people aren't responsible for their animals. I look at animals as an extension of your family, you know. I do believe that we're supposed to take care of them.
Wow, look at Stephanie Dwyer and pumping toe. Oh. How you are, honey? Yeah, you all right?
I love the fact that the people that I have met down here are so supportive of the arts. I think that's first and foremost down in Mississippi. That stands out to me the most, is the support of the arts.
But you can tell there's a lot of passion in her work. It's very well done, and it just seems to have a lot of energy in it.
I think every element that she adds in her artwork speaks of her and where she's been and where she's going, and I don't think anybody could ever duplicate what she does, because I think it happens while she's doing it.
I consider myself a Mississippi artist. I wasn't born and raised here, but the art came from here, the inspiration for art. In my mind, I'm only on this planet so long, and the question is, what are you going to do with this time? And I only have so much time, and I have so many trees to build, and the planet's a big place. I got a lot of work to do.
Hey, regrettably, that's all the time we have for this episode from Natchez. If you have any questions about anything you've seen on tonight's show, contact us at mpbonline.org/Mississippi Roads. Hey, till next time, I'm Walt Grayson. I'll be seeing you on Mississippi Roads.
It's sweat and mud and our roots run deep. Living ain't easy, but it sure is sweet. Make you feel inside what there ain't no words to say. Got the river rolling, gamblers floating, singers singing what the writers wrote. We can't always see the signs, but we find our way down Mississippi Road. Mississippi Road.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.